Got everything all bolted in here. We did the steering column. We got our two nuts on the bottom here, one there, and then this bracket that came across here, and all those are 10 mil. Everything for the dash is 10 mil all along the top and the sides. Down at the bottom brackets for the front and the side here. There's that side bracket, and then you can see this black front bracket there. Those could be 13 millimeter, but I was able to get them with a 1/2 inch. What I did was I started off with the sides. So I pushed in the sides on this side and that side, and then I tightened those first, went along the top, and then those brackets on the bottom are adjustable, tighten those down. Did the steering column, and then we found out there was that plug-in that I had out of there. Well, we found that's right up there. It goes to this thing here. So we were able to get that up there, just remove that plug, and then I kind of fished it up through there, and then I got it to where it's supposed to go. So we corrected that, and now I'm gonna work at bolting on our electrical components for our body control module here, and then that wiring over by the dash, we'll bolt that up together. The electrical's all screwed on here, and I switched out my Phillips screws for Robinson, just personal choice, that's what I like. Over here we're gonna have 2 screws for our OBD reader. Up here we have 4 screws for, that's the body control module in behind there, and then this is the plug that plugs into it, and then behind there's another, I don't know if it's part of the body control module, but it's another electrical connection. Several plugs go into it, and then you're going to have a series of screws here, 1, 2, 3, and another one back there, 4, and then just plugging these back into the structural. They just plug back in. Back here on the passenger side, here is that all the electrical wires that come in through here, and so that just screws to the top there. So there's 3 on the front, and there's 2 in the back. 1, 2. So 5 screws, putting that all back together up there. Then we cleaned up the kick panel down here. We got all our wires in behind here nice. Then we put this panel back on, so there's 2 screws there, 1, 2. And then this one here screws into the body there. We got that. And then down here, ordinarily there was just this thing that goes on there. So I replaced that just with a 1/4 inch nut. And it's just got a washer as part of it. So that goes on there. Now, just simply put your cover back on over top the fuse box there. And that takes care of all those things. Reassembling all the stuff into the dash here. So we just push our gauges in where it plugs into that plug in the back. There's actually 4 screws, 2 on the bottom, 2 on the top. I just put the 2 on the bottom here on either side, 1 there and 1 there. And then plug in the radio, and then there's two bolts to hold that in. Those were 10 mil in this thing. We got 3 screws for that heater control, 1, 2, 3 in the bottom. We've got 3 screws for that information center, same thing, 1, 2, another one on the bottom down there. We've got controls for the rear wiper and defrost and stuff. So that's going to be 1, 2, and 3 there. And then we have our 3 screws for our headlights up front here. So 1, 2, and 3. Now we can put our bezel in over top of the gauges, and we can assemble our glove box over there. Finish installing the bottom portion of the dash here, and then this is on the driver's side, and then we've got over here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 screws holding this piece on. The inside portion of the glove box and that center bezel is all one unit, so there's going to be 2 screws there on the top, and then there's going to be 2 screws in behind where the ashtray is. And then along the top of the glove box there's going to be 4 screws up there. So just along the top there's going to be 4 screws here, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then and then one here. And then that center piece, that's all the same part, so there's those two. And when you pull out the ashtray, there's two in behind the ashtray there. This glove box portion itself, when it's installed, there's a series of screws on the bottom here. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then where that light is, to screw that light on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then that should finish everything for the bottom portion of the dash. And then the only thing left to do is to basically click in the bezels on either side of the steering column. And then those just click into place. For that center console, there's going to be 2 screws at the back here, right in the bottom. There's going to be underneath this plate, there's 4 screws right there that hold that down. So it's just 6 screws to hold down the center console. And then you just got to snap in your pieces back in here. There's this one, and then there's this one here that you'll have to snap back into place. And then underneath of there, there's this one. In my case, this ended up breaking in behind here. It's just kind of plastic welded, and the tabs and everything broke, so have to deal with that for now. And then, of course, for the seats, the seats are just going to have 2 bolts up front and 2 bolts in the back there. So in the end, it is a big job and it's not a fun job, but once you know what you're getting into and you take your time, it's not that bad. Like I said, there's some of these vehicles that end up in the scrapyard because people don't want to put the work in to do a job like that. So, or they'll sell them cheap. Their loss is your gain in a case like that.